Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Welcome to Turning Point with Patrice Williams.
We can be whatever we dream.
Enhance the way you think about successful entrepreneurship, empowerment, and politics to live your best life.
Fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself.
And now your host, the authentic, impactful influencer and coalition builder, Patrice Williams.
Well, hello. I'm sorry. I still love that intro. It's hot. I was still in the background. Now I've heard it 20 times, and each time I hear it, I'm like, oh, today is a great day. I am going to bring to the virtual stage another one of my good friends, Edie Thomas. I know you all know her. She is this amazing advocate. And every time I talk to her, I learn more and more about our community. So before I give you her bio, I'm going to bring her up.
Hi there.
That wasn't right. Hold on.
Oh,
there we go.
Good morning.
I said, no, that's not right. We need to be side by side.
Hi there.
It's, I used to see you all the time, and it's just so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. And it's good to be seen.
It's good to be seen.
It is.
So we have an interactive chat, and we are welcoming you here onto Turning Point. Lisa's so funny. She says she loves the intro too. I don't know. Maybe it'll get old. We'll have to change it in a few months, but not yet.
I like it.
You like it?
Oh, I do too. Yeah, I like it.
Yay! But I'm so glad we talked via text, and we spoke, and you said, let's talk about the challenges and successes of running a nonprofit during a pandemic. And so I'm so glad that you are here to give us almost a case study of what happened, with your nonprofit and how you were able to overcome with Connections for Life. But before we get into that, let me give your bio. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful. So, Edie Thomas, advocating for independence, equity, and integration in the disability world. Edie has been the executive director of Connections for Life in Solano County for over 16 years. Previously, she worked with the California Department of Rehabilitation as a resource specialist in Northern California and a vocational rehabilitation counselor in Southern California. She began working with people with disabilities while working in management with Trader Joe's. She then became an expert job coach and job developer for people with significant disabilities in the employment arena in Orange County. She is currently appointed to the Solano Commission for Women and Girls by Vacaville's City Council, is an honorary commander with the Travis Air Force Base, and previously the chair with the Solano Transportation Authority Paratransit Coordinating Council. Has served on the board of the California Supported Living Network and was the chair for the North Bay Regional Center Vendor Advisory Committee. She is passionate about advocating for people who have disabilities and the need support having their voices heard. These people have been in her part of her tribe for almost 30 years, and she is excited to have the opportunity to share her enthusiasm with Solano County.
Yes, that's me.
That is Edie Thomas, so beautifully wrapped up. And for you, you are a passionate voice. And I know when we meet, you really educate on the needs of the do we say disabled, interabled? What is the correct term?
We, there's a lot of words. I mean, as you were reading it, I was laughing because there's a lot of big words we use in our industry. But people with disabilities, it's not disabled people, because the disability never comes first. The people always come first. So
Okay.
it's people with disabilities.
People with disabilities, people with disabilities. And so we've talked about transportation, jobs. We've just talked about a lot of little areas, and I want to make sure we hone into that. But before we go into what I want to do is kind of weave the story of the organization into the story of what happened with the organization during the pandemic.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, first, I would love to share a little bit about Connections for Life.
Yeah.
We support people that have significant disabilities, mostly people that have developmental disabilities. So that includes people with Down syndrome, autism, cerebral palsy, developmental disabilities, and then there's whole other categories of folks that have intellectual and cognitive disabilities. We support them to live independently in their own homes all throughout Solano County. So we have people in every city except for Rio Vista, I believe. So our staff go into the home and support them with their goals and their dreams, teach them how to cook, how to clean, how to take their meds. For some of the folks we support, they are very physically challenged. So our staff do that work for them. For some of our folks, they are not physically challenged. And so we teach them, and it's hand over hand direction that we provide. So just as different as you and I are, the supports for each person are different. It really varies, and it's always customized services and supports for each person that we do.
Got it. So what happened when so you all go into houses?
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, shelter in place.
Right.
What do you do?
Well, our business had to go on as usual because our job is to be with our people and be in their homes supporting them. Many of the folks we support are not able to live without that support. So, back in March, we knew it was coming. And in April, we really buckled down. And as soon as Solano County had the stay-at-home mandate, we scrambled. We had to scramble immediately to organize how are we going to manage this, because our employees couldn't stay at home. All of the programming, all of the employment opportunities and day programs and services, daytime services that people actively participated in were shut down immediately. And so then we were tasked with organizing, for many of our folks, a 24-hour schedule. So typically our people go in the afternoon when they come home from their job or their work, their day program. And then our staff stay throughout the night based on what the needs are. And then they leave about 7 or 8 in the morning. But then we had to organize 24 hours for many of our people. So it was, we really scrambled fast. And then of course the limitations on the people who were fragile that we employed, people who were over 60, I think that's what it was, and people who had their own medical challenges, they were taken out of work. And so then our workforce went down. And we were like, what are we doing? Oh no. And so, we've been advertising, for employment, and it's really been challenging. So we really, we got our management team got together and really put together some concrete plans about how we were going to manage the ongoing support needs of each of our people. Our employees have been absolutely amazing. They have worked overtime, double overtime, triple overtime. It's been surreal. The people that have committed their lives to caring for the people we support, they are our backbone. They're the most amazingly selfless people, and they work really, really hard. And so I really want to make a huge shout out to them today, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Their selflessness and their focus on keeping our people healthy and safe in spite of the pandemic. Some of their stories are really tear-jerking. It's unbelievable what they've done. And some, they've had to really sacrifice in their personal life to continue to care for our folks. And so it's really been amazing.
Right. Okay. So you have a few things going on. So you have a population whose needs have increased. We have
highly
in place. And so there's rules and regulations surrounding, there's best practices around that about, staying protected, keeping your clients protected, you protected, doing this work in a safe environment. You all would be considered essential workers.
Yes.
But if I remember right, also you no longer needed that. No one was coming into the office. You moved your employee base. Everyone were remote unless they were working with your client base, right?
Yeah. So we have an administrative team that, to run the business, because we employ over 100 people. So we turned on, it was really amazing. I look back at it now and I can't believe what we accomplished in such a short time. I know that larger companies are just now starting to recognize what they're needing to do to survive, but we did it all before June. So we had the shutdown in April, I believe. May, June. We closed down 2 of our 3 large business suites. And that was housing about 15 management staff. And we had all this furniture and we had all these files and we had stuff. We've been in business just, I think, shy of 19 years, about 19 years. No, that's not right. Actually, it's been about 20 years. So we had collected a lot of things. We have all of the furniture that it took to house everybody, with desks and cabinets and, all of that. And we had a large boardroom with quite a bit of material. Did I cut out? Can you still see me? Oh, okay.
Perfectly.
My picture looks funny there. Anyway, so we really had to scramble because we needed to save money on our rent. And since we had all of our management team that was working in the field, because we had all the tools, we had all the laptops, and we recognized what other tools we needed. And so we moved really fast to move everything out. So we sold very cheaply, as many desks as we could. And it worked out really well because there were quite a few families that their children were going to be homeschooled or, doing school from home. And so we were selling small desks for $5 and families coming to pick them up. And they were so happy because they were setting up little spaces for their kids to do their homework at home. So we tried really hard to do it as reasonable as possible and move as fast as possible. And we all got a physical workout. We worked together as a team, and our management team really pulled together, and it was quite amazing. During that process, we recognized the other tools that we needed to have so that they would be successful to work from home. Because where they had been in the field quite a bit, they'd always come back into the office to check in and to take care of the administrative things. So we implemented lots available for all of our team because some of them didn't have Wi-Fi at home. And we implemented the DocuSign so that we could do all the documentation and signing of documents online, which those are not things that nonprofits always think about because they're costly and it's, I don't know, we're a little more homegrown than, DocuSign is something that a larger corporation or company would use. So we implemented that, and we've We found all kinds of tools for scanning without a scanner, scanning from our cell phones. And it was amazing how resourceful and creative we got. And the team had to turn and have everything change. And so what we have now is just one small administrative office, not small, medium size, with workstations and tons of hand sanitizer and gloves and masks. And people can make an appointment to come in and work when they need to, if they need to do anything needs printing, or if they just need quiet time and space. We changed out our telephone system so that our whole phone system is online, and everything. So in the past, everybody had a cubicle. Some people had a desktop and a phone. And so we really shifted everything, and we did that all before July.
It was amazing. So you have to give us, like, you gave us these great technology. I call them technology hacks. Are you willing to tell us who, like, you gave us DocuSign for phone system? Who are you using? What did you use?
They're tricky. They're tricky systems. It's very, very different than using a landline. And so every line phone system has their glitches. We're using Net to Phone.
Okay.
It's a relatively new company, and some of them, there's some glitch working some of that out. But that way they call into a phone number with an extension, and that gets directed out to the cell phone of each individual. And then that phone call also comes in an email. So it goes from verbal to text in an email. But you have to think about this. And, sometimes you have to act fast, and we didn't realize all the challenges that we would be facing. Many of the people we support have verbal, and so they don't speak extremely clearly and enunciate ever. So when they call, they leave a message, and then stuff it comes back, and it looks like it's Chinese or it's another language, because the listening mechanism in the Net to Phone system doesn't pick up, the nuances of somebody's verbal challenges.
Right.
So we,
voicemails.
Yes. So we've learned how to acclimate, and we've gone mobile. Right now I'm sitting at home, laptop and my cell phone, and I do business with that. And and in the old days, that was not that we would do business. It's not how I would run a company with 100 employees. So those tools, we were fortunate because we're nonprofit. We access resources through TechSoup in San Francisco. And if nonprofits are not familiar with that resource, it's an amazing resource. We pay pennies on the dollar for resources as a nonprofit. That if we're a for-profit, we would pay so much more for those resources. And every business that we do business with, I always ask for the nonprofit discount. And even if there is a discount, I still ask for it. And if they say they don't have one, I tell them, well, it's time we're going to create one.
Right.
So, yeah.
And it's TechSoup.
What's the TechSoup? TechSoup.org. TechSoup.org is the resource. And you're a nonprofit, you have to get registered with them. And they have to see a little bit about your financials. And then, smaller nonprofits have more access because they have less funds. And we're considered one of the larger nonprofits because we employ large numbers of people. And because of that, our income base is larger. So,
I love hacks. I love like those things that we don't have to struggle through because someone else has already figured it out. Yeah.
Well, and I can share this that we always ask Dell for a nonprofit discount for all of our laptops. We ask Sprint. We have a discount because we're a nonprofit with Sprint for all of our cell phone usage. And it's just really nice because that gives us the flexibility that we do have to use it where it's needed.
Right. So what does fundraising look like in these days? Because I know you
Yeah.
have a major event, December, right?
Mhm.
December. So how does that change?
It's totally changed. We were actually received a grant from Kaiser this year because we're actually going to start doing a large annual fundraiser. Uh, because we're a fee-for-service agency, we're funded primarily through tax dollars, through the county, through the state, and through center system. And the people support either have to be through a regional center or they need to be private pay. And so we don't always do as much fund as other nonprofits because we're busy working. And whereas many nonprofits are dependent on donations primarily, and we're not. So it's a little different with our business. But this year we were planning to do that. We consistently write grants. And so this year our whole holiday event had to get canceled and postponed until 2021. And with hope, we're going to have it again. But we really wanted to have a large event with inviting the community and having stories shared by our people and by our employees, because it's really challenging if you don't live in our system to really understand how our system works and what our challenges are and what our strengths are, good things that come out of it. Because we live every day with, no matter what happens in their life, we're living it with them.
Mm. Was
Yeah.
was there um, an increase of in the world of COVID-19, did you
Mhm.
find that um, did you feel like your community was not as safe? Is there an access to healthcare, and are you finding that in the community as well?
It's been really challenging. Of course, for our population, the majority of them are quite vulnerable medically. And so for many of our people, because their day programs, their day activities were cut, many of them were homebound. We had to find extremely safe environments. In the summertime, it was easier because it was nice weather. And we would take them outside to spend some time. But for our population, they're the most vulnerable, partially because they don't understand why everything has changed. They don't get it. You cannot explain to some of our people what COVID means, why they can't have their normal activities, and so it's been really challenging. The only times we take them to the doctor is when it is an extreme concern, because that when you go to the doctor, that's where a lot of illness and disease is. And so to keep our people safe, we've really kept them away from the medical environments as much as possible. But that still did not keep COVID out of our system. Very, very sadly, we had a very devastating situation happen.
Oh.
We'd put a lot of restrictions. We put a really large system in place to control our employees, but you can't control people. And when you're talking about 100 employees, it was really challenging. And it isn't a one work environment where everybody's coming, so there's not a lot of oversight. And so we had an employee come into work in one of the homes that didn't have any symptoms. And the individual that they were supporting was an elderly lady, and it was very devastating. And she ended up getting sick and passing.
Oh boy.
It was gut-wrenching because she's been a part of our community. She's been a part of our tribe for about 14, 15 years. And she was in her 80s, and she was a whippersnapper, and she was a tough chick. And she, the things that she had been through in her life, it was amazing. But she was Native American. And as you know, COVID certain people, certain populations are more prone to catching it and having it become a more devastating outcome anyway. So, it was a really challenging time for all of us, for all of the employees and for her friends who, the people that we support who were her friends, and for her family as well.
I know we were texting back and forth, or maybe we were speaking, and I remember you mentioned it and you said, I'm having a tough time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's hard. Our people that we work with, they become a part of our family, really. And each of them has this amazing world that they've survived. Some of them are such hardcore survivalists, and their childhoods, some of their youth and their beginnings, they're really, really tough. So much discrimination against them. I know that the school systems do their very best, but there's so much ridiculing and harassment that our people have survived. And so for so many of them, some of them have come out of congregate living environments, group homes, or state-run facilities. People that have had such diverse backgrounds. So for them to get their own apartment and to have their own life, they're really being their own person. And it's such a pleasure to support them in that. And so when something really tough goes down, we lose it, we fall apart. So our team really, though, we created, they've supported each other, and they've really come together, and we do the best we can. We're all human, and that COVID does not respect age or disability or ethnicity or anything. It is a free for all. It'll take anybody it can down.
Right. Well, let me ask you this: because this is what you do, for the value you bring to my life. You teach me how to be a better advocate for this population. Could you give us, right now, where is the need and how can we be better advocates surrounding this specific population? What do we do? Do we just load you up with money? Should we drop your like what? What, do we just rally around you? Do you need volunteers? What does that look like today? And I'll give you another example. I remember surrounding transportation. I called you and I was like, Edie, I love transportation. We even met at an event surrounding transportation. And and you were like, you just laid it out. You just laid it out. I was like, okay, I know what to do. So what does that look like today? How can we become a better advocate?
Well, everything has changed, and the way that we're supporting our people has changed. We'd had a contract with Solano Transportation Authority to do mobility training, because access in the community, like I probably shared with you originally, access in the community is everything for our people. If they can't get to a job, then they can't get a job. And so knowing how to access resources in the community is everything for them. But right now, because of COVID, access in the community, we're trying to limit it as much as possible. And so it's a really hard answer for that right now. I mean, in the big picture, politically, I'm about housing, accessing and creating affordable housing for our people, creating community resources where our people can integrate and not be segregated, not be in a specific environment where those are the disabled people, those are the people that are different, their special needs. We all have needs, and their needs are no more special than our needs. And so some of the verbiage that we use, it triggers things, and that's one of my things. I'm a pretty strong advocate about that. But learning more about our people and how to integrate them and treat them just like I treat you, like you treat me, and really create relationship. That's one of the biggest things that community can do. And right now, that's really tough because of COVID. In the meantime, employees, is one of the biggest needs we have. We need direct support professionals, people that are willing to come and do the hands-on work, which means risk. That's a tough ask for some people. We need some coordination, because managing people's lives, you can imagine, I manage my life and I manage my son's life, and sometimes that was a little overwhelming. I used to manage my mom's life because she was elderly, but if you can imagine in a job in 8 hours that you're managing 20 people's lives, and each of them has special needs. Ooh, I said that, special needs, but they have really extreme, detailed lives that need managing oversight. We need more people that are willing to commit to working in this field.
Okay.
And then as well, financially, people need to be paid, and they need to be paid well. It is wrenching when we are in a position that we can only afford to pay our employees minimum wage to start. They can go over to In and Out and make not twice as much, but they can make a better salary, and they don't have the responsibility and the risk. And so our system is very large, and as large state systems go, change takes time. The big wheel turns slowly. And so it's, if people want to make donations to Connections for Life, I will be so thankful for that. We did apply for a PPP loan, and we were very fortunate to receive that. And so we've been fortunate to be able to stay fluid with our funding. But it's how you vote. Honestly, it's how you vote and who you vote to state office and in federal offices, because to really support the people that it comes from how we get funded and how people are looking at our population and whether they're good enough considered. And there are a lot of populations right now that are in need, the mental health population and the homeless population. And we are thankful because our population is well taken care of. And there's so many people that live on the streets that really need support similar to how we provide, but there's no funding stream. And so your question, I probably didn't give you a really direct answer, but it's
no, that was good, because you gave us various touch points on how to support the community. I want people to make sure they go to your Facebook page. And I believe
and our
it's and your website. Yep. So we put up your website. I'll put that back up again, and it's Connections for Life with the 4. And I believe your Facebook page is the same way. It's the 4.
Yeah. So
okay. We'll see if we can get one of our audience members to find it and post it so that it'll go out on all of our platforms.
Our Facebook page actually is spelled out FOR.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is wonderful. Okay, perfect. So they need to follow you. So if your website was so well organized, I remember the different areas that you're talking about, those were all on the website. There was a way to touch your organization if they wanted, if they were an employer, there was a way to touch your organization if they wanted to work a job and to donate. It was just so well, it was a really easy to do. Yeah, so I think your website is the right place to guide people for sure. So before we go into the next subject, I want to make sure, I want to know a little bit about what you're doing with commissions for women and girls, because we have the executive director that's going to be coming onto the show. But so that's the teaser. Before, there's people that are intrigued about the survival skills parts of the nonprofit, of what you did. So I want to make sure we go over that again.
Okay.
Just simply, because you and unless the before picture is that you had a 3-suite office,
Mhm.
and everybody was coming into that office either at the end of the day, beginning of the day. They were doing admin work. You were paper driven, is what
Yes, paper driven.
paper driven, and the office was kind of the center of all of these activities that were happening. And then you shifted where you all were now this powerful nonprofit that is now remote.
Yes.
So do you have an office at all? Can I thrive to have a nonprofit that is completely home based?
I think you can. I think that it depends on what kind of nonprofit it is. And I think it depends on how many people you employ. And I mean, if you're the head of the nonprofit and you don't want other people, it just depends. It depends on how large you are. It depends on a lot of things. We go through, I wouldn't say it's licensing, but similar, where we have audits with our funding source. We have audits with our financial source. Financially, we have financial audits. We have a lot of checks and balances where we have to have an established location. And we have a lot of paper. And so we have to keep that paper somewhere because we have so many employees, and it's a large business. Think about it, not being a nonprofit, but having 100 employees. There's a lot of business that happens there. Shifting and taking out that process of like case management, where everybody comes into the office to work, that was a major change for us. It was a good change, but it was hard for our employees. The other thing I forgot to was Zoom. We do everything by Zoom because we don't see each other.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And so we do quite a bit of Zoom meetings, and we had to make it accessible for our team that's working in the field so that they could participate in Zoom meetings as well and head Zoom meetings. And so we were able to access that through TechSoup as well. And that's been wonderful. It's a total game changer for us. Mm-hmm. And then, and so the question is, can you run the nonprofit from home? Yes, you can if you're crafty, but we have to get really creative. And if there's a physical place where people have to come to at some point, then that would be the only is if you want them coming in. Because there are times when we have to do things in person. I can't sign checks on DocuSign. That doesn't work yet. And I know that there are systems where I could do that, but we still have a physical process. And as a nonprofit, we're a little old-fashioned with that because of our accountability. We have to be so accountable regarding the taxpayers' dollars, the money that we're spending. So it's, the other thing I wanted to mention is the board. Our board of directors is absolutely amazing. They have been so dedicated to supporting us through this. We've had to make fast decisions, and so they've been able to turn on a dime as well. And it is key. It is key to making things work well, is having a board of directors that is willing to change the rules. You've always done it one way, but that rule may have been for some reason in the past, but doesn't apply anymore. And so being able to really shift midstream is important. And having a board of directors that can do that with you as an executive director or a CEO of a nonprofit, that is key to success. And I really attribute our success in this time to the board's willingness to work together with our administrative team, our management team, and everybody coming together. Even when it was not comfortable, it was not easy, and it pinched some of our personal lifestyles, but it's worked, and it's I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for everybody's commitment. And the one thing that reminds me of why everybody's doing it. It isn't because of me. It has this name, our agency. It's about each of the people in their home and we love them. We care about them. And that's the reason that everybody's working so hard, because that's our reason every single day. And in our office, I don't know if you've ever come to visit, but where we are still, we have pictures of a lot of the people that we support. And it's the best reminder. It's the best work art that we have, because those are the people are the whole reason that we exist. And their health and their success and their happiness. And my employees, they know, and I say this often, but we've got 3 goals in our business. First of all, it's to keep people healthy. It's to keep people safe. And then after that, it is all about the party. Because that's the reason that we all live, right? And whatever that party is for you, whether that's reading a book or going out and going bowling or going roller skating or going to the trampoline place or eating pizza or whatever that party is. You can't do that if you're not safe and healthy. And so that's like our unofficial mission. It's because you know me, life is all about the party.
It is. Oh my goodness. Okay. So give us a few minutes, because we're bringing on Lori Petty.
Okay.
But I know that you are excited about this commission.
Yes.
Give us a little taster, so that so when Lori comes, we're fired up.
Yeah, Laura's our new director, and she's amazing. And the commission, it started a couple years ago. I don't know exactly the date, but I've been participating since its inception because I'm passionate about women's rights, but also disabled women's rights in the community, and making sure that voices get heard all the way around. We're coming out of a season of it's been a man's world, and I've always been a really strong advocate for equal opportunities for people, no matter their gender or their status in life or their disabilities. And this group of women, they're powerful. I just got appointed this last few months ago, and so it's a change out, and it's been really exciting. There's a lot of things that are moving. The first few years, we created a status report of a lot of different areas of what's happening in Solano County and where are we at and what do we need. Some of the information that was gathered was really shocking and really disturbing. Some of the information was, we're not doing so bad compared to the state and compared to women in general. But we have so much room to grow, and we have so many things that we can do. And it really takes women supporting women. This morning I was listening to the news, and I was listening to this lady, and I didn't get her name, but she's on, she's a political figure in California, and she was talking about how few women are in political office in California. But she commented on something that I loved, and she said, the best part about women getting into office is that we bring each other along. And to me, that is really powerful, because I wouldn't be in the position I'm in if it wasn't for powerful women that have brought me along through the years. And men as well, not just women, but people that have supported me and mentored me and encouraged me. And, some days my job is really overwhelming. There are days when I just want to curl up in a ball and hide somewhere because it hurts. Sometimes life is that way, but no matter what has happened or what might happen, when you have encouragement and when you have mentoring, it changes everything. And so that's one of the strongest things that the Solano Commission for Women and Girls has been promoting, is mentoring and creating opportunity for people to learn about what other women have been through and how can I do that. And so I know Laura will be bringing some information about, and it's exciting, but we're doing some new projects. It's going to be really exciting. You guys really need to pay attention to what's happening on the commission, because there are actions that are coming, and we are not going to be a commission that sits still and is quiet. There's strong women we all come from really diverse backgrounds and have had really different lives, But there are some amazing women leaders in Solano County, and it's just super exciting to get to know them and to meet them and to bring them to the spotlight. And we have amazing women that are leaders that have disabilities. And I want to comment on one thing before you get to another question or comment. When I talk about disabilities, the work I do is with people, and most of their disabilities are visual. You can see that they have a disability. But I just want to mention that my experience of working with the Department of Rehabilitation and working in the world at large with people with disabilities, there are so many people who have disabilities who they're silent, they're quiet, they're not visual, they are not recognized. And there's always been a stigma on people with mental health disabilities, and the average population doesn't understand. We don't teach about those disabilities so that we can take that bias and the stigma away from those disabilities. And yet they are powerful women, powerful people who have disabilities, who push through and who survive. And, you know, the way that they get there, it's a different path than people without disabilities, but it is still possible. And I am a huge advocate. I have so many personal friends who deal with personal challenges. I have worked with so many strong individuals with disabilities, and whether they're visual or not, I mean, because you see somebody who's maybe been in a car accident, or one of my friends fell out of a tree, take daybreak, and now he's in a wheelchair. That wasn't a plan. Nobody plans those things, but nobody plans on having bipolar disorder or schizophrenia or severe depression. Those are not things people plan for. And yet, you know, our population, our society has created so many fears around that. And when we embrace them and get to know them as individual people, just like the agency that I run, what we do, you know, we bring them in close. That creates opportunity for them, and acceptance and mentorship, and it can change their life. It changes their opportunities in the world. So I know I got off of the,
No,
I got
no, thank you for putting us on pause and bringing awareness that way. One of my good friends, Monica Wiley, she is an advocate within in so many ways, but in the National Democratic Party. And she talks about that all the time. She's like, you can see, you know, that you can see I'm in a wheelchair, but there's so many of us that we need to advocate, speak to, and it's not visual. So thank you for putting us on pause and bringing that thought and that awareness. Also, thank you for giving us an update on the Commission for Women and Girls. I love the mission of mentorship. Just in your name, you are able to be a powerful mentorship. You're bringing in women and you're bringing girls.
Yeah.
Why don't you put them together? And you're like, a duck. That, you know, so it makes so much sense. I know many of the founders, I will never name drop because I will definitely miss one, and there's too many, and I don't have them in front of me. But the founders, the vision behind this, powerful, and also a lot of the other people that sit on that commission with you before and now. They are all amazing. I believe the best way to reach you all, because you have such a great Facebook presence, is to join your Facebook page. And that way everyone can see what you all are doing, follow, share. And so I think that is the best way to do that. Let me go through the feed. I have a feeling we have a lot of people that's just listening to you. Thank you again for that update on that. I think TechSoup.org is the huge tech hack. We can get discounts on a whole lot of things. And if you have a nonprofit that's not bringing in much, the discount gets better. But you gave us other jewels too. And this is a wonderful comment from Lisette. Let's see if I can. I don't have on my readers Lisette, so let's see if I can. That's so funny.
She's amazing. She's so supportive.
Yeah. Oh, good. I like her
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
She's so
she's
smart.
amazing.
Lisette Australia Henderson. No matter what happens in their life, we live it with them. That's in quotes. Yes, a sister of an amazing individual with disabilities who is able to be semi-independent because of supportive services. I know this is true. Thank you, Edie, Thomas, and team for all that you do.
No, very, very positive.
Isn't that the perfect way to end the segment? Well, wait, we have one more. Rhonda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she says, thank you, Edie, for such a wonderful conversation today. At Solano Volunteers, so go to Solano Volunteers, looks to support your efforts. Check your email this morning. She didn't put you on notice. Check your email. She wants to support you. And Connections for Life.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And volunteers were.
You gave us a lot today.
I know. Our world is big. It's not just a simple thing we do every day.
You're right.
I just appreciate the opportunity to share. And this has been really nice. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, you go to the green room and I'll close out the show.
Okay. Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Oh my goodness. The second episode of Turning Point. We just wrapped that up. My name is Patrice Williams. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow, you small business owners, you need to come back because we will have Tim Merle from the Solano Small Business Development Center. So you're watching and you say, well, I'm in Alameda. I'm in San Francisco. If you're a small business owner, I want you to tune in tomorrow at 10. It's going to be a great show. With that, this is Turning Point with Patrice. If you missed the intro, hold on. I'm about to give you a hot exit. Hold on. You're going to like this. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Turning Point with Patrice Williams.
Something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And never miss a podcast or live stream by visiting our website, imkpatrice.com, or connecting through social media at IamKPatrice on all platforms.